Arthur Trish joins me as per weekly here, joining us, former NBA media relations executive. And Trish just got back from your hometown or where you live right now. Would have loved to have hung out with you, but I did see my fair share of fireworks, and you might say what happened between the NABJ and Stephen A. Smith might, you know, be looked upon as fireworks, if you will.
Yeah.
In the aftermath, you know what I'm saying? Here we
hmm
are right now. There's rocks around us and all kinds of stuff because this thing has blown up.
Yeah.
So where do we go from here?
Everybody needs to lower the temperature, first of all. Uh, but here's why I feel our boy SAS needs to lower the temperature. You criticize people on a daily basis, good, bad, or indifferent, and not everyone in the world is coming at you every day firing. And there may be occasions when you press that button and either LeBron or KD would probably be the one who would fire back on him every time. But
Draymond
most,
Green.
and that's right, and Draymond Green. But more often than not, people let those brickbats fall by the wayside, and so I know he's done a lot for HBC schools. While in my opinion, NABJ is not solely just for HBCU students. It certainly have a large historic background with it. A lot of students from PWI schools also are members of NABJ, as well they should be. I wish they had a better sports division to where executives in and around these sports leagues would be more involved with them, maybe. But that doesn't mean we turn our back on the foundation of the about why the organization exists. But back to Stephen A. I mean, you showed how weak or
That's good
fragile.
enough for me. That's my position on it too. I thought it was weak. I thought it
Yeah,
was as tough as you try to be. That was a very shallow way to go about expressing your displeasure to the family, so to
well,
speak.
you weren't the only one they criticized.
To that.
You were one
That's
of
a
five.
right.
If I remember, CBS, Washington Post, another black gentleman who I can't say I've ever heard of before, and I'm missing one other person, but or institution. But it was like, dude, all right, so they don't agree with you. We all don't agree with everything you say or do. And the same may exist with us, with our families, or this, that, and the other. We don't just run the social media or run the Fox News or run the Chris Cuomo, and we're just firing off thinking that we got to have the last word. I mean, we've talked before. You know how long I've known Stephen A. And it
Right.
has the peaks and valleys have been very interesting, and I'm in that position now where it's just easier for me just not to reach out to him and either text him with my thoughts or pick up the phone and call because I just feel I would be wasting my time.
Yeah.
But I don't think any organization, if you disagree with someone, should ever hold back as to what their feelings are. And it's left up for the public to decide which way they want to go. And so just because they mention your name and you're one of, like I said, one of the four or five that were got the thumbs down, hey man, it happens. Live to fight another day on something more tangible and something more important than that, in my opinion.
Uh, Caught up in his feelings, you think?
Yeah, without question. I was like, "Are you?" That was like 24 hours later, and it was on fire. I was like, "Really? You?" I mean, he didn't even save it for. I don't know if it would have been worthy for him to talk about it on first take anyway, but he
Well,
certainly got
see,
on
you
his.
you knew in that moment, and let's talk
Oh yeah,
about you as the media PR guy for a second. You knew as soon as you saw that meltdown, which is what it was, and
let it
he's been
go.
known to say to people, know when to say when, and I thought he might have had a pop or two before he went up and
hmm
created the background and did his thing. But he's
Well,
definitely caught up in his feelings, and the thing that gets me is I was raised by
black
my
women.
mother,
Yeah.
4 sisters, 20 nieces, all that kind of stuff. Yet you condemn black women publicly. And I don't get how, I mean, look, pick your side of the street if you want to stay there, but you can't have it both ways. We're looking at a
Well,
guy right here that's trying to have it both ways.
yeah, because not only do you say you were raised by black, we all first of all we all were raised by black women, unless we were involved in an interracial situation.
Right.
But uh, that didn't mean I agree with everything my mother said or did, or the whippings I caught. It was that simple. But I love her to death, and I wish she was still here with us today.
Right.
But it goes without saying that's not going to affect how I feel about women in the business or the people I work with or have worked with over the years. That I'm just throwing that blanket paintbrush over everyone that's associated with being a black woman. I mean, come on, man. It would be like you driving down the street and somebody cuts you off, whether it's a man or a woman, and you just indict the entire group of people.
Right.
Huh? Make it
Right.
make sense. I mean, and to top it off, then you run to, like I said earlier, your so-called favorite friends, Sean Hannity and Chris Cuomo. Give
Will you
me
tell the rest of America what kind of a jerk Sean Hannity was when he was in Atlanta? I mean, this is
well,
young Sean Hannity on GST.
he was on WGST AM radio that wasn't as conservative as it became, but they were the home of Sean Hannity, Rush Limbaugh, and that's all you need to know.
Right.
And so he catapulted that job to the national spectrum. More power to him. It wasn't my cup of tea, so I'd never listened to him. And it now he's on Fox, and his
He's
blowtorch,
an
as he
influencer, no
oh,
doubt about
big
that.
time influencer. I mean, it. I had to tell my mother-in-law one time, "Why you have that on?" When I visited her, I said, "Do
Right.
you realize what they're talking about and saying all the time?" Well, I like what they say. Really? And so I'm not going to be pissed off at her to the point of where we don't talk anymore. But I
Mhm.
educated her moving forward as to my feelings as to how she should. If you're going to watch them, that's fine. But don't believe everything coming out of their mouths. And so you're smart enough to be able to distinguish what's right and what's wrong by virtue of the way they act. And so, I mean, for Laura Ingraham and Hannity and the rest of those clowns to it was also, first of all, it was also supposed to be, what was the phrase Ingraham threw out there about dribble in sports?
Oh yeah, shut up and dribble.
Yeah, and so some of these same people who want, I mean, she's on a tangent about either Caitlin Clark or the WNBA and this, that,
Hmm.
and the other, and it's like you need to shut up because
Yeah.
first of all, if you don't attend WNBA games, you don't have the right to just come out blasting a league and its players about what you feel should be the case.
And
And
ironically enough, those are the ones whose license are protected, where you had the objective places like CBS used to
right,
be, and they're going to go after CNN
right,
and sooner rather than later to more like
yes,
neuter them.
yeah.
So, I
So
mean, that's
uh,
just
it,
the
it's
world we live in right now.
social media has certainly exploded after Stephen A. did what he did, and he's got various platforms in which he can voice his concern. But when is enough enough? I mean,
But
if you
my whole thing now, and we're of course talking with Arthur Trish, our media relations guy, quite frankly. I mean, over 30 years in the business of dealing with crisis circumstances like these. I mean, this comes down as a personality crisis. You know what I'm saying? If
right,
you had been advising him, if you were in his ear in that moment, and he was going to post something like that, would you try to get him to stop?
yeah, yeah. Now he may not listen,
Right.
but it's the same with athletes. There were many times I didn't want a Josh Smith or Joe Johnson or Mookie Blaylock, Dominique Wilkins, guys like that to either do something that was beneficial for the organization, and they would tell me no, and you can just explain to them why you feel it's in their best. One, I'll give you a perfect example. Mookie Blaylock was named to the All Defensive Team for the first time in his career. I forget which year it was, but it was back in the days when we were at the Army.
Right.
And he, as you know, we didn't have many media people coming out on a daily basis to cover the
Right.
team. And this particular day, it was only our AJC reporter, Aileen Boizon, our beat writer at the time, who was there looking to get a reaction from him on this honor. And he should speak about it.
Right.
It's a highlight to your career. Other people voted on this award, recognized your talent and your abilities. And he was like, no. And I'm like, I literally put my hand in his chest. I didn't know if he was going to take a swing at me or not. And I was like, dude, I said, you're going to appreciate this at some point in time over the course of your life. And I said, it's not going to kill you to talk to her for maybe 5, maybe 10 minutes. But that was in a case where it was something positive. In this case, I would have told Stephen A, look, man, if you feel it's necessary for you to go at NABJ, give it a day. Give it a day and think about it and the ramifications behind that situation. And if it's still, even if after 24 hours you feel it's worth it, then go at it and you face the repercussions. And so I don't know if anybody is chiming in his ear from ESPN or any, hell, he probably didn't tell anybody
So let me
that
ask
he
you
was going
this
to be.
from a network perspective. The way that I see it is that, well, and again, on my drive back home,
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to my wife and I said, when I saw the deal go down and then it was amplified, they'd probably have Stephen A off the air on Monday. Here we are as we record now, Thursday.
He's
I would
still up
venture to say he's not going to be back. So they squashed it for a week. Now I don't know
there.
if he had you know, vacation time already spent, but I'm pretty sure he had to use some in this particular instance, right?
Yeah, because this week, who's been getting all the attention at ESPN? Pat
Uh,
McAfee.
Oh
Okay,
well, yeah. I mean,
and
you know,
so and all of his attention, albeit uh, positive on one end, it's certainly negative on another end as well. We don't have to necessarily get into that. All you need to do is look at your social media, and you'll find out what he's up to and what the network is up to. But it is kind of ironic that he's off this week. And I had it on briefly for because I'm working from home today, and so it's usually background noise, if anything, and it's a host of different personalities. Some I've never seen, at least never seen on his show before. But more power to him, I guess. It's because whether ESPN told him, "Hey, look, take a week away from him, stay in Miami or LA or go to the islands, wherever you want to go, and let's mute this for a little bit." But once he went on Hannity and Cuomo, he had no intentions of muting it, and so that's when your ego runs amok, and you don't have the ability to know when to turn the switch off. And like I said,
how
I,
bad do you think it damages his brand?
I think it damages it a lot because while he certainly has done a lot for the HBCU community and uh, black students in general, there are a lot of whether he realizes it or not, there are a lot of people in this business who aren't fans of his, and they're not hating on him because of the money he makes, no matter
Mhm.
what people want to think. I mean, you went after
Right.
Jasmine Crockett, you went after Kamala Harris, and you've even said some things about Obama that has certainly rubbed people the wrong way. You have the right to do that, okay? But you, once again, if you are going to go down that path, you have to be willing to face the repercussions. If you are that thin skinned and you can't take it, then stop talking about it. It's that simple. And so we'll see. Because let's face it, he's not as he's still popular at ESPN with a lot of people. He's still popular within management there. Hell, they're running some commercial with him on the air
Yeah.
just now. And it's like as soon as I
Doing
saw it,
yoga or something.
yeah, as soon as I saw it, I was like, really?
He ain't been that calm in 40 years.
It's like,
You
uh,
know,
or since he's been on General Hospital, it's like, okay, make it make
or he
sense.
was getting
But
whacked on Law and Order. But
yeah,
I
yeah.
digress.
So
That's
it's,
a great episode though.
yes, it
I got to
was.
give
I mean,
credit
it's all,
where
and
credit
we
is
heard,
due.
and a side note to that, we did hear this week that Jalen Brunson is going to get a guest starring role on. He's a big fan and friends with
It's a heart again.
Mariska
Yeah,
Hargitay. Yeah, and it's one of my favorite shows. So I'm happy to
yeah.
see I'm
Oh,
so
say
happy to see
Jalen
him get it.
Brunson. So I wonder, is he going to be a bad guy or a victim?
I know. I immediately wondered that same thing because they've had athletes on before. The most recent, I want to say, the most recent ones were Carmelo Anthony, Chris Bosh, and
Right. Yeah.
where their coach, their so-called
Was a
college
pedophile.
coach, was
Yes.
a pedophile, and
Yes.
so
Boy,
uh,
SVU gets dark and dirty. Oof.
yes, it
This
does.
ought to be good though. You
There are
know.
times when I'm like, they went there. They
Yeah. Right.
really went there.
Dick,
Okay.
hey, look, Dick Wolf doesn't care. He
No,
has
he
his
doesn't.
own like cable channel on this, device. You go to the Law and Order network.
Yeah, yeah.
And so and he's got two networks
Right. You got
that he's
CBS with
billing
the
for
FBI
content.
show and CIA.
Hmm.
Yeah, he's
So
the
I
dude is
want to be
making it
him when
happen.
I grow up.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
He got it going. That's my guy, Arthur Trish, joining us right now. Media insider, former NBA public relations executive. And there is some mess, Arthur, that is going on right now in terms of football. And I wonder, have you had a chance to take a deeper dive into this college player perhaps coming to, or the NFL player who's in camp coming back to college
I don't
and
like it.
being able to make money and get an extra year eligibility.
Right.
And it was your state, so you got to own it.
Right.
It was Louisiana who set the precedent for this. Now this is the same state, mind you, that just paid what $90 million to buy out Brian Kelly's contract or
Right.
something.
Right.
All right,
And
and
they're
then you had Lane Kiffin
paying
at
Lane
what
Kiffin.
75.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
okay, all right,
but yet but
and
yet
people in the third ward still can't eat, right?
right. Or
Okay,
education is still ranked 47 to 50th in the country.
just I
Or
just
the
all right.
governor chooses to want to fight the city of New Orleans on various issues. And it's like, what are we doing? And it's like, look, I know a lot of these states has its ills. Louisiana certainly has a ton of them. We certainly have them here in Georgia, but at least Georgia and the metro Atlanta area is certainly a lot on a much more positive note in a lot of facets than my old state of Louisiana is in. And once I saw, once I heard that news this morning, and I saw Louisiana was the state that gave him
Yes.
permission to go, I was like, okay, we had a problem. The state that is had a problem when Ole Miss found a judge allowing Kendall Chambliss to be able to go back for an additional year, and
Mm-hmm.
so now we're going to allow not only this player, but I guess it opens the door for several players who have left college. I think there's one LSU player in that mix who may have the chance to go back and play there if LSU chooses to take him, a linebacker. His name escapes me right now, but
Well, I have seen in some reports that there are a lot of guys who were like granted a fifth year from this particular rule. And with that happening, they have been in camp. And
right,
I think it was Jordan Rogers who made the point that that's a great look all the way around because you might get $2,300-$2,500 while you're in training camp to get you over. You come back to college, and even if you're backup offensive lineman, you're looking at $500,000. I
right,
mean, it's how do we get to a point where you can make more money
right.
in college at any time, Arthur, than a guy going through training camp?
Well, and the NFL is going to get wise to that, in my opinion, to where I don't know how they can stop it because still these these whether guys get injured and you're bringing guys in, or because at the time you don't fully know for certain if a player is fully committed to staying with your team, or if he's just using you as a stepping stone to get a few dollars in training camp, and he knows he might not make the team, but he can go back to college with some dollars in his pocket. The NCAA is a mess,
It is.
and I don't know what's going to come of all of this. I mean, it's
Well, let me put it to you in terms of department stores.
Mhm, mhm.
Has the NCAA gone the way of say Woolworths, or you know what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah,
and for those of
yeah.
y'all of a certain age, they were like the Walmart of our generation, so to speak. I mean, a
Mhm.
lot of great clothes, just about anything you want, you go up in there, you can get it.
Yeah, yeah. You had the shake counter. You had get
Mm-hmm.
lunch at any time during the day or early dinner. Um,
but it went out of business.
It
That
went
played
out of
off.
business. It went out of
It
business.
gave away to a new generation. I'm just wondering, is there a new way? And I guess you would know better than I how the whole athletic administrative structure works in many instances. But if the NCAA doesn't have any power to regulate, then
Yeah.
why is there an NCAA?
There and that's it. And if you have conferences like the SEC and the Big Ten continuing to voice their concerns about splitting up from the NCAA, once they do that, if they do that, then what becomes of the rest of college football, college basketball, and those entities? And it's once again,
It would hurt basketball more, I think, than it would hurt football.
yeah.
Because football is pretty independent from a broadcasting standpoint as it is,
Mhm.
where basketball kind of relies on television, especially in March.
And the tournament,
And you're right.
and so it's it would be detrimental if these conferences, in my opinion, leave the NCAA. I don't know how the NCAA regains any credibility because I don't even know who leads the NCAA now. I guess it's the former
It's still
politician
Charlie Baker, from what
Charlie
I
Baker,
understand.
and yeah, it's him. And I don't. His background is politics. Not saying he can't do the job, but how, does he really understand
No, he does
the
not. You know he
the
doesn't.
yeah
You can see it in the way he's mishandled everything. He doesn't, there's just no vision.
yeah
Say what you want about, and Walter Byers, the fine who's racist, didn't really want to integrate, didn't want to let women play, but he had a vision.
yeah
You know what I'm saying? And it seemed to have moved forward, and it became the great regulator. But they're off their tracks. Has NIL basically punked the NCAA?
yes they have, and it's you now have somebody was talking about this on the radio this morning as I was out getting some lunch, and it was like these boosters we thought they had power before. They certainly have all the power now because they decide who's going to start at some of these schools. They decide as to who's going to coach at some of these schools. And it's like they can't get out of their own way either. And it's going to become a time when you're going to have Big Booster A fighting Big Booster B for control of the school. It's coming because some of these people are doling out so much money that they're going to want to get their way as it relates. I forget which university has private equity. Oh, it's LSU is supposedly talking about it,
Yeah, well,
if I'm not mistaken. And I forget the school that had it tied some type of private equity firm or something involved with the patch on their jerseys and what have you.
oh yeah, Ohio State's
Ohio
supposed to have
State.
signed one. Yes,
Eh,
among others. There's several
we,
other teams who have that patchwork thing. And to me, immediately at that moment, if you're advertising a product, you should be compensated.
right.
At that moment, you have to compensate the entire team.
Well, and we see how private equity is messing up the NBA right now,
Oh,
in my opinion. And that's another subject we'll talk about later.
yeah.
But it's the moment I tell you when I wouldn't say my disgust with sports in general started was when a lot of these programs or foundations or organizations decided to get involved with the Saudis, and it knowing their reputation and what they're all about. I'm not casting any aspersions. Is what we've heard about them and
Right.
what we've witnessed based on news reports as to how they treat people and handle certain situations. I was like, sports isn't pure anymore when you're dealing with
Nah.
people who can control the economic climate like the Saudis can. And the willingness of some of these schools and programs to get involved with them just it really just cast a shadow on it all, in my opinion. And so we thought, not we, I didn't. The Live group was going to do wonders with golf.
Yeah, there were a bunch of guys from the PGA Tour thought that well, and then what they have to pay $4 million to get back in it.
Bro, it's not only is Live on a dying legs, The PGA doesn't. Rory McIlroy certainly doesn't want those guys back in the PGA. So that's the inference he's put out there. We'll see if he wields that much power to keep them excluded. But it's sad, man. It really is. It's not as genuine as it used to be, if it
No,
was
not at
ever
all.
genuine to begin with.
Well, it
Uh,
really never was. It was just there was a mask. There was some sort of at least competitive purity
mhm,
or whatever.
mhm.
But I want to shift gears before we have to get up out of here, Arthur. And I
Yeah,
want to talk to you for a second. You mentioned uh the quandary that the Lakers find themselves in as an organization, as a family. Apparently, there was a deal that went down between a Kushner and Bob Iger of
yeah.
Disney. Jeannie Buss, from all reports, is holding everybody to task, but the question is, can she comport herself right now as governor of the state, so to speak? What do you think that means, not only for the Lakers as a franchise, but if there's like, chaos, corruption, whatever, that's a big blow for the NBA, isn't it?
It's a huge blow for the NBA because let's take a look at what has happened since the Knicks won the title. It's been nothing but turmoil going on across the NBA. You've got the Lakers situation, you got the Clippers situation, you've got the WNBA mess that seemingly gets more attention for more stuff off the court than I've ever seen any other sport have to endure. And it's an everyday thing, it seems, with them.
Yeah.
Some of their players don't know when to shut up either. And so I don't know how this, like, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know how this Lakers situation is going to pan out. Growing up a Lakers fan, it saddens me as to how this franchise has kind of fallen off a lot since they won the bubble championship. And I wasn't
The
that
bubble
impressed with.
chip.
Yeah, I wasn't impressed with that either. But it's Jeannie is fighting with her brothers and sister.
As has been the case always.
Yeah, always. I mean, all you have to do is go back and read some of the stories that ESPN has been doing of late. They've chronicled how when she sold the team to Mark Walter the first time, how the brothers and the sister was not happy about it all. They
Nope,
weren't
they weren't.
consulted about it, and so this is their turn to get back at her. But it doesn't mean it's going to actually go through the way they want it to go through. And so uh, I I don't I often think back to David Stern because I was a huge David Stern fan. I worked for
Right.
the league or worked in the league while he was commissioner, and I don't know if he would have allowed this mess to have the attention it's gotten to get this out of hand because he probably would have told some. I'm using the word "shut up" a lot and with you
Yeah,
today,
well,
but it.
some things are better left unsaid, my friend.
Yeah, and it's you've got people firing more comments back and forth from a legal standpoint than it seems that they're more concerned about their day-to-day progress of what's happening with their franchises on the court. And I don't, the way it looks right now, I don't know if this deal is going to go through. And it just on the surface, training camp is next month in September,
Wow.
and so will we have a resolution by then? I don't think so on the surface, and it really is sad because that's one of the league's two or three famous
Marquee
franchises.
franchises. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
and
what it
so
is. I mean, the league is better when the Lakers are good.
yeah,
No matter who else is good, the Lakers kind of bring something from a historic standpoint or what have you
here
into the
we are.
flow.
Here we are worried about if they were trying to become the Minneapolis Lakers with all their offseason moves to where now we don't even know if they're going to maintain being the Los Angeles Lakers in its
All right.
current form.
Now, I inside the last 3, 4 minutes here, so I got to ask you about the team on the other side
Hmm.
of the city, if you will. That
Yep.
would be the Clippers. They can't seem at this point. Maybe it's the street mentality that I have that's still in me. There's something went down. Now,
Really.
we may not have enough evidence to prove that it went down, but I could very easily see under the table deal they trying to hide because I mean the more they lift off the cover, the more it stinks.
Oh, no, no question. I mean, let's go back to when people were trying to get Kawhi after he left Toronto,
Mm-hmm.
or made it known he was going to be leaving Toronto. Dallas, if I'm not mistaken, had interest in him, but no one wanted to deal with Uncle Dennis. A lot of teams didn't want to deal with Uncle Dennis, so it raised the question then: what is going on with that Uncle Dennis? Is this influential? Well, he's his uncle, and I guess de facto agent to some degree. But to get to Kawhi, you had to go through Uncle Dennis. And now we see that this dude was asking for the world. And because no one put a stop to it or turned him in or the league put a kibosh on him, he was able to get away with it somehow. But Pablo Torre has been dogged
Well,
in pursuing this story. And I'm not going to sit here and say ESPN might or the league might have said that the story didn't yield any fruit. But I don't care what
yeah.
the league says in that regard. That dude, somebody's talking to that guy, and he is getting his information from somewhere, and that's way too much information that one individual has gotten. Who I didn't know Pablo was that involved with in NBA circles, but someone has entrusted him to be able to give him all of this information. And he,
You know,
hey,
journalism has been in the news all week long, and what Pablo Torre did with that story is great journalism
yeah,
because you paint the picture just looking at the evidence. There were some things trying to subvert the cap. That's
yeah.
all.
Oh, no
That's really
question.
what it is.
No question. And it's got to, I don't know how the league is going to tighten this up moving forward. I don't know what the resolution is going to be. I don't care what they said in the statement. But you basically, if you allow the Clippers or Kawhi or the owner to get away with all of this, what's to stop anybody else from doing it if they aren't doing it already? And so I guess we'll see. We'll just have
You
to wait
know,
and see how it plays
it's
out.
funny. Wow, because if you got old school guy who may have been the culprit in this thing, leading
Mhm.
it, kind of makes
Mhm.
you. The one thing you can say about Rich Paul and the new generation, they are ethical. All
Yeah.
right, you know, if it was some under the table stuff being led by a family member where you could have plausible deniability, that's kind of sinister, and maybe now you see why things just don't work out for Kawhi. I mean,
It's
God
it's
don't
like,
like ugly, as they say.
look, we have enough corruption in our politics. We don't need all of this corruption to filter into sports like it is. We know there's unseemly stuff that goes on in sports all the time, but not to this extent, to where an owner has our owner bought a team a year ago and has to or has been forced or desired to give it up for whatever reason. That's the other flip side of that Lakers mess that we know very little about. And if it's going to touch the Dodgers as well,
Yeah,
because he also owns the Dodgers, so and has a tremendous money influence by virtue of Spectrum LA and the Spectrum network out there that has fueled his efforts of building that team and bringing on Shohei Ohtani and paying Yamamoto and cats like that on his roster to where he has the best team in
he's
sports. But
yeah.
within a year and a half, everything is
Well,
wrecked.
that's true because baseball is going to have a lockout of some sort. So it's
Right,
just a matter of how long,
right.
and it'll be interesting to see how one of because I think one of your old bosses is still out there with them right
Yeah,
now, and he Stan Caston. Hey,
Stan
I'll say
Keston is still
this:
involved.
DC made a mistake letting him go.
Yes, they did.
I don't
Yes, they
know
did.
what the inner mechanisms of it was. But as an experienced baseball guy, I think he got a bad rap up here. And a lot of the reason that they won in 2019 was because of the infrastructure that they have. Tough to deal with sometimes as a media guy, but all in all, man, great sports mind. Really appreciate
Yeah.
the time with him. Also appreciate the time with you, bro, man. It's always good to hook up and administer a little social therapy for those who need it. We're doing the
Yes,
work of the
Lord.
Lord.
Yes, Lord.
Anyway,
There's always a story happening in sports.
stay with us. We got more of what you came here for. It's OG Sports Rap on the network. Download that mobile app, Sports Rap Network. We all we got.